Welcome to Bobby Top Adventures. I'm Bobby Top, and I had disappearance clearance. Okay, for this trip, plan was a one-nighter motorcycle camping trip to Staircase Campgrounds, Olympic National Park. Last minute, I made the decision to not take the motorcycle. I had taken a trip below freezing temperatures back in February, and just thinking about how my feet were cold, and really, motorcycle boots aren't exactly winter boots. So I was just kind of concerned that I was testing the gear. So if the gear failed, then I still have to ride the motorcycle home in cold temperatures. The February trip was 20 minutes away. This is 2 hours away. So I didn't feel comfortable until I get full confidence in the gear and the camping style for that cold temperatures. So I decided to take the truck. As a backup, I wasn't using the heater of the truck for at the campground or anything like that. So that was the intent. Use it as a backup, last minute thing if I needed it. Now the initial trip was I was trying to get to Staircase Campground in Olympic National Park, and I got out there, and the gate was closed. The road was closed. There was a bunch of downed trees on it, so I had to turn around there. So then I had to figure out where I wanted to camp. I wanted to stay close to there because Lake Cushman, I planned on, once I got set up, to go over and do some fishing in Lake Cushman. But that didn't pan out. I started heading north up 101, and I attempted to look at Hammock area campgrounds, but those were closed. They were also covered in snow. There was a little bit of snow on the ground at Staircase, but there was a lot more snow at Hammock campgrounds. Gate was closed, and there really wasn't any dispersed camping areas available. There was one vehicle out there that looked kind of sketchy, so I decided not to stay out there. And then, so I continued to head north and wound up at Dosewallips National Park. It's a nice park, nice campground, a lot of space available. But surprisingly, there was a lot of campers out there. Now, there was RVs out there as well. Not too many tent campers, but there were still some. But it was crowded for that colder temperature and this time of year. It was pretty crowded. So I didn't get what I wanted with regards to a nice, quiet campground or camping experience. But I did get to test the gear. I did test certain things that you'll see in the video. I wanted to test a different configuration for the tarp that you'll see, as well as just testing the gear to make sure that it kept me warm at night with just a tarp, and it did. So take a look at the video. I'm going to follow up at the end of the video with some of the equipment issues that I did have, and also the successes that I had. Enjoy the video. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I just want to go over a few things of what I learned during that trip. Granted, it was a campground with a lot of people in it, so you know it wasn't out in the bush, right? So there's that. But I did get I accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish, which was test my gear in cold weathers. The temperature did drop to around 29 degrees. And so one of the things that I wanted to test was how I set up with the poncho liner as kind of a liner for the tent as an insulation. I wanted to test, see how that works. For this particular trip, it didn't really work, only because it was too high for the purpose of that. Just any heat that it was going to collect kind of went away. It didn't get down to my level; it was too high. So. But I will say that it did work, though, because on the ridge line that I threw up there, I hung my headlamp up there. Everything else in the tarp was cold. Like, I grabbed my phone to see what temperature it was, and like my hands got cold. Like, I had to put them back in my sleeping bag. It was cold. But when I reached up to get my headlamp, the headlamp was warm. It was not cold at all compared to the other objects under the tarp. So yes, I would say that it worked. I just need to get it lower and probably more enclosed in like a tarp tent setup, just not as open. But I would say yes, it does work. It just didn't work necessarily for this particular trip. So I'll try that again, just in a different tarp configuration. Either lower the tarp, or use a tarp tent setup. The other thing I wanted to talk about was my chair. So my original camp chair that I used to use, I broke during the Idaho BDR trip. When I crashed, I originally thought that I had hit a down tree that was in the road in the way. Thought I got past it, and I kind of got thrown back into it when I was going around it. But I thought I hit that. But what I did hit was actually my Tusk Pioneer on the side. And my camp chair was in that front pocket of that Tusk Pioneer, the Olympus Pioneer. So I didn't realize it because the Pioneer didn't break, the Pioneer was rock solid. It was awesome. Didn't bend the frame of it at all. I mean, completely stopped the bike. I went flying over the handlebars. So I didn't realize it until I went to set up my chair a couple days later and realized it was broke or bent and all that stuff. I couldn't set it up, and then I couldn't realize what it was, and then I remembered that's what I must have hit. And so I went this last trip. I went without a camp chair, and it made life miserable not having a chair to sit down. I'm too old to sit on the ground, bottom line. So it's no longer a luxury item for me, it's a necessity. So I bought another chair. And I found this chair, I was excited about it because it had the setup down here with the legs. And so the biggest issue with my other camp chair were the legs digging into the dirt and sinking. And so this fixed that. It was amazing. I thought this is going to be absolutely stellar. The only problem is it's already broke. I didn't do any major wear on it other than be a 200-pound guy sitting on it. And so this back end had bent. And so compared to this side straight, this side bent. And so now when I set it up, it's crooked and I can't sit in it. And so it's just not durable. And I think I saw in the video, I was trying to figure out where it bent, when it happened, what did I do to really bend it, what did I torque on it. And I think when I stand up, I was using the kind of the armrest chairs to stand up, and you can see it puts the torque on the bar, and I'm pretty sure that's what bent it. So kind of a bummer that great concept. I was really looking forward to that being my new camp chair, but now one use and it's a one and done. So I'm not going to use that. I'm sure you guys want to know what it is. I don't know how to pronounce it. East-Drill Camping, EASDRIL. It's a great concept. I'm sure it's a great chair, just probably not for someone that's 200 pounds. And probably doesn't have the flexibility to not use the side rails to get up off and on it. So it is lower to the ground, so I might have plopped in it a couple times too. It just didn't meet the mark. So now I'm on the hunt for another chair. I was trying to avoid using my Costco chair just because it's so much bigger and it's harder to pack. I won't be able to get it in my bags. It's just too big, so I'd have to strap it to the back rack, and I was trying to avoid that. I wanted the size where I can stick it into that pocket of the pannier. And I also don't want to spend $100 either, so I'm looking for a 35. I think this was like $38, $39. So I can't be too mad. It is what it is, and you get what you pay for sometimes. And so I'm just going to look for another $39 one that hopefully won't break after I sit on it. But all in all, the trip went really well. I do have a caveat note that, yes, I had firewood with me. That was the second backup to utilizing the truck instead of the motorcycle. I didn't mind taking the firewood because a lot of times I would go camping. If I can't get enough firewood, go into town after I'm unpacked, go into town and get a bunch of firewood. So taking my own firewood instead of buying some it's not a big deal to me. And I wanted the backup to make sure that I had a heat source. And I'm glad I did, because at the Dosewallips State Park, you can't forage for wood for campfires. You have to bring in firewood. So I had to use it anyway. But you did see the kit that I make. So this time of year it's cold, and when I can't get out, that's when I restock for my next season of camping. And so yeah, I'll sit and I'll whittle and shave off wood and get little sticks, little kindling sticks, and just put it together. And dryer lint, that's what I started the fire with, dryer lint. That's just kind of the fun part of just kind of creating that. And I carry that little fire starter kit wherever I go. I don't have to buy anything. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed most of it. I enjoyed that I was out there. I enjoyed that I now have the confidence to take the gear. My feet weren't cold, which was a good thing. So, I would have had confidence had I taken the bike. I have a feeling, though, with the dead ends that I kept coming up to, I might have turned around when I saw the snow and just gave up and went home. So I'm glad I did take the truck, because I did get to camp a little bit. Yeah, it's a campground full of noise and kids and dogs and generators from the RVs, but mission was accomplished. I was able to get out there and cook over an open fire, and the food was good. So I got no complaints there. It just it wasn't the experience that I wanted, but it was a great experience nonetheless. So get out there, get camping. I'll see you on the road.